What's up, everybody? Matt, Comic Quarter 410 here. I have a smaller haul than normal for the past 2 weeks, but I did find some pretty good deals at a sale and did some good scrounging in the dollar bins. First off, I got a second set of the Punisher miniseries with these beautiful airbrushed Mike Zeck covers. They're some of my all-time favorite covers. I grabbed this set because my 1, 3, and 5 from the set I already have are all signed by Mike Zeck. So I got this, and I got a great deal on them. They're all near mint to near mint minus, except number 3, which may be VF plus, maybe near mint minus. But considering the condition, I got a great deal on these books. Paid $50 for this set. Got another copy of number 1, number 2, number 3. What an incredible cover. It's one of my favorites of all time. Number 4 and number 5. Also got this set half off. This is the Kraven's Last Hunt set, also with stunning classic Mike Zeck covers. And I already had a set of these, but a few of them were upgrades for me, and with the price, they were $2.50 a piece, so I just bought them. This is Web of Spider-Man 31, Part 1. Amazing 293, Part 2. Spectacular Spider-Man 131. My favorite cover of this storyline, Web of Spider-Man 32, classic Mike Zeck cover again. Amazing Spider-Man 294, Part 5. If my memory serves me correct, this is actually the issue where Kraven shoots himself and commits suicide. And the final part, Spectacular Spider-Man 132. If you're a Spidey fan and you've never read Kraven's Last Hunt, I cannot recommend it enough to you. Go pick it up and do yourself a favor. A few things from my pull list. Been a big Robotech fan since I was a kid. Titan Comics relaunching a new Robotech series, and I asked my shop to pull the Art Germ cover for me a few months ago. Glad I did, because it's sold out everywhere here now. Pretty excited about this. We'll see how it goes. A new Mage series by Matt Wagner. I believe this is going to run 12 or 15 issues, but not 100% sure on that. It's issue 0. Got this Neil Adams cover to Mighty Mouse number 2. I think I have a few more of the other specials. I know I'm getting the Manhunter and Darkseid one-shots, but DC is doing a bunch of Jack Kirby specials here, and this is the New God special by cover by Shane Davis. I already got the Terry Dodson one, but this is the Joseph Michael Linsner cover to Betty Page number 1. Beautiful stuff. They're picking a lot of the right guys to do these covers. That's a stunner there. This was $7.99 cover price, and I'm kind of surprised. Usually when IDW does an annual or a book that's $7.99 cover price, it's in prestige format, but this was not. Had to buy it nonetheless. This is the TMNT Usagi Yojimbo one-shot, and my shop held the Sergio Aragonis variant for me because I know I'm a big fan of his. This is the variant to the final issue of Shaolin Cowboy Who Will Stop the Rain, and this variant is by Gennady Tartakovsky, who is the creator of Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack, and also the creative mind behind the Cartoon Network Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon. Couple variants I got for cover price. This is the Thunderbolts number 3 variant. I believe this is Art Adams. Amazing Spider-Man 18 Defenders variant with Luke Cage by the great Dale Keown. Dr. Aphra number 8 variant, classic Star Wars cover by Jen Bartel. And a Jim Lee variant to Superman Unchained. They ordered this on the DC Diamond variant sale for me, and it actually got back shipped, so I got it 2 weeks later. So very happy with those. Did some nice digging in the dollar bins First off, trying to open this up here. I heard they're relaunching this. I hope it doesn't suck as bad as it did towards the end. But found this Wizard in the dollar bin. This is the July 98 issue. Don't see, 83. And it has this gatefold cover here of female comic characters by the great Adam Hughes. So when I saw that for $1, had to snatch that one up. Found a bunch of run fillers in the dollar bin too. I'm not going to show those, but some of the highlights of my discount bin digging: got Action Comics 800 with this great Drew Struzan cover. Didn't know what these were, but this is Atos by Ground Zero Comics, and this is from '97. So this, I don't know if it's his first published artwork or not, but this Greg Land work definitely predates his Sojourn work and everything else that I knew. So I hadn't heard of it, so I snatched them up. That's number 1 and number 2. You didn't have number 3. It's a 3-issue mini. Got this America's Best Comics 64-page giant in the dollar bin with this great Alex Ross cover and some Alan Moore stories in there. Aragonis and Kyle Baker, a whole bunch of my favorites worked on that. Got this Marvel adaptation to the much maligned early 90s Captain America movie that starred J.D. Salinger's son Matt as Captain America. And to my knowledge, he hasn't really done anything since. That movie was really panned hard, but got the adaptation of it. Got this Dark Horse Ghost Special, cover and interior by Adam Hughes. Great, great stuff. Very overlooked Adam Hughes series. Never saw this before, but it was in the dollar bin, and I like buying off-brand stuff sometimes, so I got this Goulash number 1 from 94, 94. I was really stoked to find this in there. I already have 2 copies, but one of them is signed by Sergio Aragonis and Stan Sakai, but really, really high-grade copy of Marvel's Gru the Wanderer number 1 for $1. That's not staying there. I'm a huge fan of that series. This was kind of interesting. It's the Infinity Gauntlet stand-up that would have went behind a stack of the books on a counter when this came out, and it's got Thanos by George Perez. I believe that's the cover to... It's one of the issues, maybe 4 or 5. Drawing a blank, but... Never seen it before, so for $1 I grabbed it up. Got a couple great Greg Horn Miss Marvel covers. Beautiful stuff. Miss Marvel 27 and 29. This is from the 90s as well. Publisher, I believe, was TV Comics. This is the Munsters Limited series, and this is the Virgin Photo variant to issue 1. Got that for $1. Got Jeff Johns' Stars and Stripes number 1. I believe this is their first appearance. And got this Transformers versus G.I. Joe number 2 subscription variant by Thomas Scioli. It's a really, really fun mini-series there. Finally got a copy of Hard Boiled number 2. And this was less than cover price. It's a near mint copy. The guy had like 5 of them. I already have number 1, so finally have this completed. And I'm a huge fan of Jeff Darrow. So that is a great, great read. Saw this for $1, so I grabbed it up. This is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign manual or adventure, and it's based in the Conan universe with Arnold on the front, so I had to snatch that up. Got an amazing deal on these. I'm not really sure how rare or valuable they are at all, but I got a really great deal on them. And this is the one I wanted the most. This is the biggest ash can I've ever seen. This is an ash can preview to Steve Bissett's Tyrant, and it's by Spider Baby Publications, which was his imprint. They did some really off-the-wall horror stuff that I really loved, like Voodoo, and you don't see it that often. That's why I snatched it up. Beautiful Bissett cover there on that. These are, I guess, uncorrected proof scripts or promos for these books that came out in the 90s. This is Sovereign 7 preview. I believe it's all text. There's no artwork in these. Manhunter preview. You can see they say for display only, not for sale. And static preview for Milestone. So I was happy to get those. Move this back just a touch. Got yet another high-grade treasury. These were, you know, an original owner collection that was bought. The guy said he read them once and stuck them away in a file box, and I believe it. I've showed the other 6 or 7 that I bought, and they're immaculate. And this is one I've been wanting for a long time, the Batman vs. Incredible Hulk Marvel DC Treasury. And not only am I a big fan of Batman and Joker and Hulk, but this is also drawn by one of my all-time favorite artists, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. This copy is really nice. It has a color break and spine tick on the back, some very, very minute rubbing there on the corners, and you know, maybe these corners aren't quite as sharp and pointed as they should be, but this is still a near mint minus copy, and I am so stoked to get it. And I think I've looked through all those treasuries. Unless he cuts me an incredible deal, that's the last one I'm buying from this collection. But was very, very happy to find the ones that I did, because I never see them in that grade. Last but not least, I finally completed my Warp Graphics Elfquest run. And my good buddy Why Not Art had mentioned when I was showing some in an earlier video that when I get done the run, he'd like it if I could show all the covers from this run. And this is something I've been a fan of since I was a kid, but you know, in the 80s, the sword and sorcery genre was really big. Dungeons and Dragons was really big. They had a kids cartoon on Saturday morning done by Marvel Sunbow Productions. You had the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan movies. The Conan comics were hot. The Warlord comics were hot. And so were these, but this was truly an independent publisher, and they were more West Coast based, if I remember, or might have been Michigan. But at any rate, they weren't distributed too well out here, especially at first. Those were the days before the internet. They were very hard to find, and for me being a kid in elementary school, even back then, Elfquest #1 was like a $50 to $70 book if you could find it, and I never could. But over the years, the hype has died down around this great series that holds up amazingly well, both art and story. So I've actually been able to get these pretty cheap, and most of them I paid $1 or $2 a piece for, except for the #1. And I will be looking to upgrade this, hopefully. This copy's probably about a fine plus. Pressing and a cleaning will definitely help this. I'm going to send this to my guy, hopefully this week. But Wendy Pini, I think her covers, her interior artwork, her layouts are amazing. I think she's one of the most underrated artists out there. She hasn't branched out too much outside of Elfquest. I think that's a big part of it. But love this series and got it completed. So there's my #1. And you can tell the early issues, the first prints will always be $1 cover price. So that's something to pay attention to. Elfquest 2. This copy's pretty rough. Got a much nicer first print of #2. I'm actually, you know, a good majority of the way done having a second full run of these, which I never would have believed as a kid. But first print of Elfquest #3, another great cover. There's a much nicer copy. And this is a second print, I believe, of #3. Elfquest #4, and my nicer copy of it. #5, and another first print of #5 that's in a little better shape. Here's Elfquest #6, another gorgeous Wendy Pini cover. And I'll have to double check. I believe this is still a first print. I think this is when they went to $1.25 cover price, but I'll have to double check on that. But there's a second copy of #6. This is one of my favorite covers of the entire series. to Elfquest 7 with Cutter getting drunk with the trolls off Dreamberry wine. And that's a rough copy. I believe this one is a second print, $1.50 cover price. And there's still not perfect because of this white cover, but my nicest copy of the three, and that's a first print. Elfquest number 8, another beautiful cover. 2 copies of that one. Number 9, and again, that one's a little rough and discolored in that area. Beautiful cover though, and there's a much nicer copy of number 9. Beautiful, beautiful cover of this Fairy in the Woods from Elfquest number 10. Forgetting her name right now. She caused them a lot of trouble though. Here's Elfquest number 11, where they find the elder elves that, for those of you who have read it, you know the main group of elves you follow in Elfquest are the Wolf Riders, and they basically have companions or familiars that are elves, and this older tribe of elves they found in the mountains were bird-based, and they flew giant hawks and eagles and stuff, so pretty cool. Beautiful Wendy Pini cover to Elfquest number 12. This is another copy. Number 13. A little better copy there, still not perfect. Elfquest 14. Second copy as well. 15. Stunning, stunning cover there. Beautiful stuff. There's my second copy of 15. Elfquest number 16. Number 17, another beautiful painted cover by Wendy. There's my second copy of 17. Number 18, this was actually the last issue I needed to complete the run. I just got this in. I bought it off eBay very cheap. But just got that in this week. Great cover. Elfquest number 19. 2 copies of that. Issue 20. My second copy. And I only have 1 copy of the final issue, Elfquest 21. But I am so beyond thrilled to have this completed. I also have the Star Blaze trade paperbacks from the 80s. I'm missing the final one, Volume 5. They're pretty hard to find and sometimes not very cheap. But hope to complete that. Hope to complete my epic run. Those are pretty much all dollar books except for maybe the final issue. You might pay $4 or $5 for number 1, but you can find them in the dollar bin. So, gonna finish that up, and I might even do a video of other Elfquest stuff because Apple Comics. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think Apple did some. Warp did a bunch more miniseries. And then DC did an anniversary special, and the series that's currently going on, Elfquest, The Final Quest. So, big fan of this. Really stoked to have it done. And appreciate all of you stopping by as always. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and enjoy your comic books.